Life often unfolds in ways we least expect. We encounter highs and lows, moments of joy and times of sorrow, and through it all, we search for something that will anchor us, a philosophy, a routine, a set of habits that brings us peace. This journey began with one simple realization. While we can't control what happens to us, we can control how we respond. This core belief of Stoicism became the foundation upon which I built habits that changed my life in just 1 week. For those starting from scratch, it might seem like a long road ahead. But in truth, a transformation often begins with the smallest of steps, repeated consistently day by day. Each habit I adopted aligned with a Stoic principle, offering not just guidance but also resilience to navigate life's unpredictable tides. In the quiet of the morning, before the day's demands could pull me in every direction, I began a ritual that would become one of my most cherished practices: morning reflection. Every dawn, I would sit in silence, taking a few minutes to center myself, to focus on what truly mattered. What intentions did I want to set for the day? Whom did I want to be, not in the eyes of others, but in the eyes of my own conscience? This practice, inspired by the Stoics, felt like an invisible shield that allowed me to face the day with clarity and purpose. And as the evening settled, I would return to my journal for a brief review of the day. Had I honored my intentions? Had I maintained my calm when challenges arose? This habit of morning reflection and evening review provided both a beginning and an end, a way to bookend each day with mindfulness, with gratitude, and with an honest look at my own progress. Stoicism teaches us that resilience is built not in comfort, but in adversity. So one habit I chose to implement was to seek out small discomforts, to practice welcoming them rather than shying away. This took many forms. Sometimes it meant stepping out for a walk in the cold without a jacket. Other times it meant facing difficult conversations I might otherwise avoid. Embracing discomfort taught me that so much of life's suffering lies not in discomfort itself, but in our resistance to it. Every time I chose to confront a discomfort head-on, I felt a quiet strength building within. The courage to face what's uncomfortable is a cornerstone of Stoicism, and it's in those small acts of bravery that we prepare ourselves for life's larger challenges. Life, I realized, is an endless cycle of expectations. We often spend our days wishing for things to be different, wishing for more, for better, for something else entirely. Yet the Stoics remind us of the power of gratitude, of accepting life as it is rather than as we want it to be. In this week of transformation, I practice gratitude each morning, starting with the simple things: the warmth of the sun, the comfort of a hot cup of tea, the privilege of another day to grow. This habit grounded me, helped me see that, even in the midst of difficulty, there is so much to be thankful for. Acceptance became a part of my daily practice. When things didn't go my way, I chose not to resist, but to adapt, to remind myself that within every situation lies an opportunity to grow. This shift in perspective freed me from the constant tug-of-war between reality and expectation, bringing a sense of peace that felt liberating. One of the most profound lessons I learned from Stoicism was the art of letting go of things beyond my control. This habit, simple yet deeply transformative, became a central part of my week. Whenever I felt overwhelmed or frustrated, I would pause, take a deep breath, and ask myself, is this within my control? If the answer was no, I practiced releasing it. Over time, I found that this habit lightened my mind and lifted the weight of countless worries that had no bearing on my actions. By focusing only on what I could control, my thoughts, my reactions, my efforts, I reclaimed energy that had been dissipated on things I could never change. This clarity, this focus on the controllable, empowered me in ways I hadn't anticipated. Lastly, I committed to the Stoic ideal of constant growth, choosing to learn or practice one small skill each day. This wasn't about mastery, but about the act of improving, no matter how gradual. Each evening, I reflected on what I had learned, be it a new phrase in a foreign language, a recipe I'd never tried, or a new perspective I had considered. This habit of daily improvement, however minor, gave my days a sense of purpose and progression, a reminder that life itself is a journey, a process of becoming. By the end of that week, I realized that these habits were more than just daily practices. They were principles for living, a roadmap to navigate life with greater peace and resilience. The small changes I had made, guided by Stoicism, laid a foundation of inner strength and self-awareness. Starting from scratch doesn't require grand gestures. It requires patience, persistence, and the willingness to look inward. These habits will serve as lifelong companions, constant reminders that true power lies not in what happens to us, but in how we choose to respond. One of the Stoics' most powerful teachings is the importance of being present in every action, regardless of how mundane it may seem. This habit of mindful attention transformed the way I experienced daily life. Instead of letting my mind wander through a sea of distractions, I focused on the task at hand with full awareness, whether I was washing dishes, walking, or writing. When I committed to experiencing each moment fully, I noticed a profound shift. I felt more connected to my life, as if each activity, no matter how small, had its own inherent purpose. This mindfulness anchored me in the present, preventing me from being consumed by regrets of the past or worries about the future. As the Stoics would say, true freedom lies in mastering your attention. In my week of adopting Stoic habits, one of the most challenging yet rewarding practices was confronting my fears. Stoicism teaches us not to run from our fears, but to face them, to investigate their roots, and to understand their power over us. Each day, I challenged myself to face one small fear, no matter how trivial it seemed. Sometimes it was as simple as reaching out to a friend I hadn't spoken to in years, while other times it was voicing my opinion on an issue I had been hesitant about. Each time I confronted a fear, I grew stronger. Fear diminished as I realized that often what we fear is simply a product of our mind, a shadow without substance. This practice taught me that courage is not the absence of fear, but the willingness to face it. Stoicism places immense value on the virtue of compassion, not only for ourselves but also for others. In my journey, I began practicing empathy by trying to see the world through the eyes of those around me. Every day I made an effort to listen more deeply, to set aside my own judgments, and to understand others' perspectives. This habit, simple yet transformative, shifted the way I related to people. I found myself less reactive, less prone to anger, and more patient. Compassion softened my approach to conflict, allowing me to respond with kindness rather than defensiveness. This daily practice of empathy reminded me of our shared humanity, a powerful antidote to the alienation we often feel in a busy world. One lesson the Stoics emphasized was finding purpose in all that we do, however insignificant it may appear. This habit reshaped my perspective on work and daily chores. Rather than viewing tasks as meaningless or trivial, I began to approach each one with a sense of purpose, even reverence. Whether it was organizing my workspace, preparing a meal, or completing a work project, I saw each task as an opportunity for growth, a way to honor my capabilities. This shift brought a surprising amount of joy and satisfaction to my daily routines. I realized that purpose isn't something grand or elusive. It's a quality we bring to each moment when we engage with intention and respect. Life is a series of fleeting moments, each as transient as the last. The Stoics often reflected on the impermanence of life, a concept that felt humbling yet liberating. Every morning I reminded myself that this day, like all others, would soon pass, and that my time here is limited. This daily practice made each moment feel precious, infusing my life with a sense of urgency and gratitude. I learned not to cling to things, people, or even emotions, knowing that everything is in a state of flux. Embracing impermanence allowed me to live with more freedom, more joy, and less attachment to outcomes beyond my control. One of the most impactful changes I made during this week was adopting the habit of simplicity. I began to cut back on unnecessary distractions and material excess, focusing instead on what truly mattered. The Stoics believed that happiness lies not in having more, but in needing less. and I found this to be profoundly true. I simplified my space, reduced my spending, and focused my time on meaningful activities rather than idle pleasures. This habit of simplicity brought clarity to my life, reducing stress and creating a sense of abundance I had never experienced before. Less became more, and I found joy in the simplicity of being. Discipline, I discovered, is the cornerstone of Stoic living. This habit required commitment and patience, as it meant doing things even when I didn't feel like it. Each morning I set small goals, whether it was exercising, eating mindfully, or dedicating an hour to study. This practice taught me the power of consistency, of showing up even when motivation was lacking. Discipline brought order to my days, providing a structure that allowed me to thrive. Over time, self-discipline became less of a struggle and more of a source of pride, a reminder that I could count on myself to follow through on my intentions. Stoicism is often seen as a philosophy of strict discipline, yet it also encourages self-compassion. This habit taught me to be kinder to myself, especially on days when I fell short of my goals. Rather than judging myself harshly, I learned to acknowledge my mistakes and move forward. I treated myself as I would a friend, with understanding and encouragement. This practice of self-compassion softened my inner dialogue, making my journey more sustainable. I realized that growth is not a linear process and that setbacks are a part of progress. Self-compassion became a gentle reminder to keep going, even on difficult days. One powerful Stoic practice I adopted was the habit of visualizing obstacles. Each morning I anticipated possible challenges I might face, mentally rehearsing my response. This premeditation of adversity helped me stay prepared, allowing me to respond with patience rather than frustration when difficulties arose. Instead of viewing obstacles as threats, I saw them as opportunities to practice resilience. This mental preparation reduced my fear of the unknown, empowering me to face each day with calm and confidence. Visualizing obstacles became a way to transform potential setbacks into sources of strength. The Stoics teach us to detach from the opinions of others, focusing instead on our own integrity and intentions. This habit, though challenging, freed me from the need for external validation. I began to approach my actions with the question, am I acting in accordance with my values, rather than will this be approved by others? This shift allowed me to act authentically without being swayed by praise or criticism. Detachment from others' opinions brought an unexpected peace, enabling me to remain steady in my purpose, regardless of external reactions. In our fast-paced world, patience is a rare quality, yet it's a central tenet of Stoicism. I committed to practicing patience each day, especially during moments of frustration. Whether it was waiting in line, facing a delay, or dealing with a difficult person, I saw each situation as a chance to cultivate calm. This habit of patience helped me develop tolerance and resilience, teaching me that true strength lies in the ability to wait with grace. Over time, patience became a powerful ally, allowing me to navigate life's ups and downs with serenity. One of the final habits I embraced was the pursuit of purpose rather than perfection. Stoicism reminds us that the goal is not to be perfect, but to be purposeful in our actions. This shift released me from the pressure to meet impossible standards and allowed me to focus on the journey rather than the outcome. Each day I strove to do my best, knowing that growth, not perfection, is the aim. This mindset fostered a sense of contentment and self-acceptance, reminding me that each step forward, no matter how small, is meaningful. Each day I spent a few moments reflecting on mortality, a practice the Stoics call memento mori. This habit wasn't morbid but liberating, helping me to prioritize what truly mattered. Reminding myself of life's brevity allowed me to live more fully, to let go of trivial concerns, and to appreciate the present. This reflection deepened my gratitude, making me aware of the gift of each moment. It inspired me to act with intention, to live with purpose, and to embrace the beauty of life as it is. Lastly, I adopted the habit of forgiveness, both for myself and others. Each day, I released past grudges and let go of lingering regrets. Forgiveness, I found, is a form of freedom, a way to unburden the heart. Practicing forgiveness allowed me to move forward unencumbered, to approach each new day with a clean slate. This habit of letting go brought a sense of peace, allowing me to live without resentment or regret. In this week of adopting Stoic habits, the most profound lesson I learned was that true happiness lies in contentment. Each day I practiced appreciating what I had, rather than yearning for what I didn't. This habit of contentment taught me that happiness isn't found in external achievements, but in a peaceful mind and a grateful heart. By embracing what is, rather than constantly striving for what could be, I found a lasting sense of fulfillment. In a world that often demands instant satisfaction, I learned the power of waiting. Practicing delayed gratification taught me that good things often require time and patience. Instead of seeking immediate rewards, I focused on the long-term benefits of my actions. Each time I chose to wait, whether it was holding off on a purchase or delaying a pleasurable activity until after completing a task, I felt my self-control grow stronger. This habit helped me prioritize lasting joy over momentary pleasure, aligning my actions with a sense of purpose rather than impulse. Humility, the Stoics remind us, is not about thinking less of ourselves, but about thinking of ourselves less. I began practicing humility by acknowledging that I am a student in life, that there is always more to learn and room to grow. Each day, I reminded myself to listen more and talk less, to value others' perspectives as much as my own. This habit of humility softened my ego and helped me become more receptive to feedback and growth, reminding me that wisdom is found in an open mind. Non-reactiveness, a fundamental Stoic practice, taught me to pause before responding, especially in moments of tension or anger. I learned to separate my initial reaction from my response, to take a deep breath and let emotions settle before speaking or acting. This habit of non-reactiveness gave me greater control over my words and actions, allowing me to respond with calmness and clarity rather than impulsivity. It reminded me that, while I may not control others' actions, I am fully in control of my own response. Resilience is the Stoic art of weathering life's storms without losing hope. Each day, I practiced resilience by embracing challenges as opportunities to grow stronger. Rather than viewing setbacks as defeats, I saw them as lessons, as stepping stones toward greater wisdom and strength. This habit transformed my relationship with adversity, helping me see that resilience is not about avoiding hardship, but about thriving in the face of it. Each challenge became a teacher, each obstacle a reminder of my inner fortitude. In our busy lives, the silence and solitude are often undervalued, yet they are essential for reflection and self-discovery. I made it a habit to spend a few minutes each day in quiet solitude, free from distractions. This time allowed me to reconnect with myself, to tune into my thoughts, and to find peace in stillness. Silence became a refuge, a space where I could think deeply and understand myself more clearly. This practice of solitude nurtured my inner peace and gave me clarity in a noisy world. Endurance is a Stoic virtue that I cultivated by making small sacrifices each day, such as skipping a luxury or choosing a more challenging path. These daily acts of sacrifice taught me to be content with less, to appreciate simplicity, and to strengthen my resolve. Over time, I found that these small acts of endurance built resilience, helping me approach life with greater patience and gratitude. One of the hardest lessons I learned from Stoicism was detachment from outcomes. I began practicing this habit by focusing on the quality of my actions rather than the results. Instead of worrying about how things would turn out, I concentrated on doing my best in the present moment. This detachment from results allowed me to work with more freedom and joy, without the constant pressure of expectations. I learned that true peace lies in the process, not the end result. Stoicism taught me that consistency, not grand gestures, leads to real change. I practice consistency by committing to small, manageable actions each day, whether it was a few minutes of exercise, meditation, or reading. This habit of consistency showed me that progress is not about leaps, but about steady, unbroken effort. Each small act built upon the last, creating a rhythm that brought order and growth to my days. Regret, the Stoics tell us, is a burden that serves no purpose. I practiced letting go of regret by focusing on the lessons I could take from past mistakes rather than dwelling on them. Each day I reminded myself that I could not change the past, only learn from it. This habit of releasing regret freed me from guilt and self-criticism, allowing me to move forward with greater self-compassion and clarity. Life is uncertain, and the Stoics teach us to embrace that uncertainty rather than fear it. I made it a habit to approach each day with openness, accepting that I cannot predict or control everything. This practice helped me develop flexibility and adaptability, allowing me to face unexpected events with calm and confidence. Embracing uncertainty became a source of freedom, a reminder that life's unpredictability is part of its beauty. Stoicism values humility, but it also teaches us to recognize our achievements. I made it a habit to celebrate small victories each day, acknowledging progress, no matter how minor. This practice of self-recognition fueled my motivation and reminded me that each step forward, however small, is meaningful. Celebrating small victories reinforced my belief in my own growth and resilience. Stoicism teaches that the mind is our greatest strength. I practiced building mental toughness by challenging my thoughts and overcoming negative thinking patterns. Each day, I worked on staying calm in the face of stress, viewing challenges as opportunities to strengthen my mind. This habit of mental resilience helped me cultivate a mindset of strength, reminding me that my thoughts shape my reality. Justice, a core Stoic virtue, teaches us to act fairly and honorably. I made it a habit to reflect on justice by ensuring that my actions aligned with fairness and integrity. Each day, I asked myself whether I had treated others with respect and honesty. This practice of justice deepened my sense of responsibility and helped me live in accordance with my values. The Stoics valued restraint in words as much as actions. I made it a habit to speak mindfully, considering my words before speaking. This practice of restraint helped me avoid misunderstandings and approach conversations with thoughtfulness. By choosing my words carefully, I created more harmonious interactions and learned the power of silence. Before each action, I made it a habit to consider its purpose and alignment with my values. This habit of intentionality brought clarity to my choices, helping me act with conviction. Each decision became an opportunity to reinforce my sense of purpose and ensure that my actions aligned with my deepest principles. Stoicism teaches that attachment to material things leads to suffering. I practice this habit by letting go of my attachment to belongings, recognizing that they are temporary. This detachment from possessions brought a sense of freedom, allowing me to appreciate the true value of experiences over things. Each day I practice forgiveness, understanding that holding on to anger or resentment only harmed me. This habit of forgiveness brought peace to my heart, allowing me to release past hurts and focus on the present. Forgiveness became a path to healing, a way to let go and find inner peace. The Stoics teach that change is the nature of life, and I made it a habit to welcome it rather than resist it. Each day I embrace the flow of life, accepting that growth requires adaptability. This habit of embracing change taught me to find stability within myself, rather than in external circumstances. Finally, I practiced memento mori, a reminder of my own mortality. Each day I reflected on the finite nature of life, a humbling yet empowering habit. This awareness of mortality made me more present, more grateful, and more committed to living fully. It reminded me that life is a gift, and each day is an opportunity to live with purpose, kindness, and courage. The Stoics believe that nature is a powerful teacher, offering wisdom in every leaf, river, and sunset. I made it a habit to spend time each day observing nature, finding inspiration in its calmness and resilience. Whether watching the gentle flow of water or the stillness of a tree, I learned to accept the natural cycles of life. This habit reminded me of the Stoic principle of living in harmony with the world around me and encouraged a deep appreciation for life's simplicity and beauty. The Stoics valued lifelong learning and the humility of knowing that there is always more to learn. I began practicing a beginner's mindset, approaching each day with curiosity and openness to new knowledge. This habit taught me to release my ego, allowing myself to learn from anyone and any situation, no matter how seemingly small. Embracing a beginner's mindset made each experience rich with lessons and gave me a renewed sense of wonder about the world. The Stoics were often hard on themselves, but they also valued balance and self-care. I made it a habit to practice self-compassion, understanding that mistakes are part of growth. Instead of criticizing myself, I worked on treating myself with kindness and patience. This habit of self-compassion gave me a sense of inner peace, helping me become more forgiving of my shortcomings and more accepting of my imperfections. The Stoics taught that a simple life is a peaceful life. I began decluttering my environment and simplifying my routines, focusing only on what truly mattered. This habit of seeking simplicity brought a sense of clarity and calm to my days, helping me let go of unnecessary desires and distractions. By choosing simplicity, I discovered the joy of living mindfully, focusing on the quality of experiences over quantity. Contentment, a key Stoic value, involves finding happiness in the present moment rather than seeking it elsewhere. I practiced contentment by appreciating what I already had and resisting the urge to constantly desire more. This habit taught me that true happiness comes from within, from gratitude and acceptance, rather than from external possessions. Choosing contentment each day gave me a sense of fulfillment and inner peace, grounding me in the joy of the present. The Stoics valued silence as a path to wisdom, encouraging quiet reflection and mindfulness. I made it a habit to spend time each day in silence, allowing my mind to settle and my thoughts to clarify. This practice of embracing silence gave me mental clarity, helping me connect more deeply with myself and approach life with a centered, peaceful mindset. Joy, the Stoics believed, can be cultivated within regardless of circumstances. I practice this by finding happiness in small, everyday moments. A kind word, a moment of laughter, a quiet walk. This habit of nurturing inner joy helped me appreciate the beauty of simple experiences and showed me that true joy is not dependent on external events. By choosing to cultivate joy each day, I found a wellspring of positivity within myself. The Stoics emphasized the importance of understanding others, and active listening became a practice that transformed my interactions. I made it a habit to listen deeply, focusing entirely on the person speaking rather than planning my response. This practice of active listening improved my relationships, helping me connect on a deeper level with others. By listening with full presence, I found greater empathy and compassion in my conversations. Stoic reflection is a nightly practice, and I incorporated gratitude as part of my reflection each evening. Before sleeping, I reviewed my day, acknowledging moments that brought joy, lessons, or growth. This habit of nightly gratitude gave me a positive perspective on life, helping me end each day with a sense of peace and appreciation. Reflecting with gratitude reinforced my sense of purpose and reminded me of life's many blessings. Lastly, I made it a habit to honor my journey and celebrate my progress, no matter how small. Stoicism emphasizes the importance of perseverance, and each day I reminded myself of how far I had come. This practice helped me appreciate my resilience and courage, celebrating the growth I had achieved through my dedication to these Stoic habits. Honoring my journey became a source of motivation, a reminder of the inner strength I had cultivated, and an encouragement to continue this transformative path. In a world full of distractions, I found great value in the Stoic principle of focus. I practiced single tasking, dedicating my full attention to one task at a time. This habit taught me that depth is more meaningful than speed, helping me cultivate a deeper sense of presence and efficiency in my work. By focusing on one task, I experienced less stress and more satisfaction, making each accomplishment feel more rewarding and intentional. Compassion is a Stoic virtue that extends beyond those closest to us. I made it a habit to approach everyone I met with kindness and empathy, even strangers. Each day I practiced small acts of compassion, whether by offering a smile, a helping hand, or simply by being patient. This practice reminded me of our shared humanity, fostering a sense of connection with others and reinforcing the importance of kindness in a sometimes indifferent world. Stoicism teaches the value of discipline in even the smallest actions. I made it a habit to approach routine tasks with purpose and focus, whether it was tidying up, preparing meals, or exercising. This discipline in simple tasks taught me that everything I do matters and that self-control is built one small action at a time. Practicing discipline in the mundane created a foundation of stability and order in my life. Emotional resilience is essential to Stoic practice, and I strengthened it through regular self-reflection. Each day I checked in with my emotions, examining any negative feelings and seeking their sources. This habit helped me understand my triggers, allowing me to approach challenges with calmness and self-awareness. Through self-reflection, I became more resilient, less affected by external situations, and more in control of my internal world. The Stoics taught that forgiveness is for our own peace. I practiced forgiving others without waiting for apologies, recognizing that holding on to resentment only harmed me. Each time I forgave, I felt lighter, freed from the weight of grudges. This habit of unconditional forgiveness brought me greater inner peace and reminded me that I alone am responsible for my well-being.